by this one and that one.
Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order for December 15th, 2025. We're going to begin with our organizational portion of the meeting. So I'd like to invite the family members to come up and join whoever. At first we're doing mayor, clearly. Congratulations. Okay, if you will repeat your name after me. I state your name.
I, B. Lawrence,
Do solemnly and sincerely swear
solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States,
and that I will faithfully and bear true allegiance
and I will faithfully bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers and authorities
and to the constitutional powers and authorities
which are or may be established for the government thereof,
which are or may be established by the government thereof,
and that I will endeavor to support and maintain
and that I will endeavor to support and maintain
and defend the Constitution and laws of,
and defend the Constitution and laws
of said state,
of said state,
not inconsistent with the Constitution and laws of the United States,
not inconsistent with the Constitution and laws of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office as mayor
my duties as the office of mayor
of the town of Weaverville.
of the town of Weaverville.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call up Jennifer Young and Jennifer Young's son. Jennifer, you'd like to raise your right hand? There you go. And so you'll state your name. I state your name.
I, Jennifer Young,
Do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States,
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers and authorities
and to the constitutional powers and authorities
which are or may be established for the government thereof,
which are or may be established by the government thereof,
and that I will endeavor to support and maintain
and that I will endeavor to support and maintain
and defend the Constitution and laws of said state, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the state,
not inconsistent with
not inconsistent with
the Constitution and laws of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office as council member
the duties of my office as council member
of the town of Weaverville, so help me God.
of the town of Weaverville, so help me God.
Congratulations. And we'd like to invite Phil's family up. Could you come right here, Elaine? Come right here. There you go. You're going to hold it. You'll raise your right, there you go. Phil, raise your right hand. You place your right hand on the Bible and raise your left hand. Excuse me. Sorry. Yes. So, I state your name.
I, Phil Barnett,
Do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws
that I will support the Constitution and laws
of the United States,
of the United States,
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers and authorities
and to the constitutional powers and authorities
which are or may be established for the government thereof,
which are and may be established to the government thereof,
that I will endeavor to support and maintain
that I will endeavor to support and maintain
and defend the Constitution and laws
and defend the Constitution and laws
of said state,
of said state,
not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States,
not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office as council member
the duties of my office as council member
of the town of Weaverville, so help me God.
of the town of Weaverville, so help me God.
Congratulations. Thank you. I state your name,
I, Mark Andrews,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws
that I will support the Constitution and laws
of the United States,
of the United States,
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
and I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina,
to the state of North Carolina,
to the constitutional powers and authorities
to the constitutional powers and authorities
which are or may be established
which are or may be established
for the government thereof,
for the government thereof,
that I will endeavor to support and maintain
that I will endeavor to support and maintain,
and defend the Constitution and laws
to defend the Constitution and laws
of said state,
of said state,
not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States,
not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office as council member
the duties of my office as council member
of the town of Weaverville.
of the town of Weaverville.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, we now have a vacancy on town council. For any, we know we have 5 candidates that have applied for this position. So at this point, council would be pleased to discuss those applicants or to make a motion.
I'd like to thank all of the applicants, number one. We've taken a very hard look at all of your qualifications, and we certainly appreciate your support of the town of Weaverville and your interest in serving the town. I think based on the conversations that we've had among ourselves and the expression of need that we have in being a fairly young and green, with the exception of me, I know I'm not young, but being a fairly now inexperienced council, there seems to be a primary need for experience with town council in the past. So given that priority, I'd like to nominate on our behalf Andrew Nagel to fill Dee's vacancy on town council.
Would you make that in the form of a motion, please?
I'd like to make that motion to seat Andrew Nagel in your vacancy, Dee.
Okay. The motion, is there any other discussion?
I just want to say I met with all the candidates and they're all very well qualified. All would, I think, do a really good job on the council. But I agree with Phil and his nomination that, to me, Andrew stood out both in his previous experience with the town council, his standing in the community, and I think he would just be a big asset for council.
Yes, Mark, I agree. I also looked at all the candidates very carefully, and am very appreciative of all of those who applied. It is, it's quite an honor to be here, and it's an honor to be working with such a talented team. I know that we have people here on the planning board that's applied. We have people on, different levels that's been a part of the town. And I'm very grateful for that. And if you were not selected for this position, it doesn't mean that we do not value you, because we do. But we are such an inexperienced council, and we have a new mayor and a relatively new town manager. We have a new public works director, and soon, hopefully, to have a new fire chief. And so it's critical that we use the experience of Andrew to help us make good decisions. And so, again, I thank all of you for those who applied, and I also support Andrew.
And I'd also like to thank everybody that applied, and appreciate all the hard work that's gone into this. Thank you.
I also agree. I think Andrew would bring a wealth of experience in a time that we need it, and I would agree on this appointment.
No further discussion. Care to vote on this motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None appearing for opposed. Andrew Nagel will take a seat on the council.
Hello, sir. Congratulations. You're welcome. Yes, sir. Exactly correct. Left right hand on the Bible and raise your left. There you go. Thank you. I state your name.
I, Andrew Nagel,
Do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States,
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers and authorities
and to the constitutional powers and authorities
which are or may be established for the government thereof,
which are and may be established for the government thereof,
that I will endeavor to support and maintain
that I will endeavor to support and maintain
and defend the Constitution and laws
and defend the Constitution and laws
of said state,
of said state,
not inconsistent with the Constitution and laws of the United States,
not inconsistent with the laws and Constitution of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of my office as council member
of my office as council member
to the town of Weaverville, so help me God.
to the town of Weaverville, so help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council has one more task to do, and that is to elect a new vice mayor. So are there any motions to nominate someone for the vice mayor's position?
Yes, I would like to nominate John Chase. John has already had experience as vice mayor. He has been very faithful to serve the town. I think he brings a lot of knowledge that can help all of us in this position and can support you well. And so I'd like to nominate John Chase. So I'll make a motion that we nominate John Chase as vice mayor.
We have a motion. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I call the question. All in favor of John Chase to continue as vice mayor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Congratulations, John. We'll call the meeting to order now. The first thing on the list here is the recognition of former Mayor Fitzsimmons. Is he present? Come on down. Scotty, you ready? Sure. I'd like to read this certificate before Scotty does his thing. He's got the big prize over there. So, certificate of recognition and service to the town of Weaverville presented to Patrick Fitzsimmons. Having served the town of Weaverville since 2015, Mayor Fitzsimmons has demonstrated exceptional leadership, guidance, and commitment to the residents of Weaverville and its neighboring communities. Awarded the Charles H. Campbell Regional Leadership Award in 2025 by the Land of Sky Regional Council and serving as past chairman of the Land of Sky Board of Delegates. Mayor Fitzsimmons has exercised sound governance throughout his tenure and has exemplified civic responsibility and steadfast dedication to the town's well-being for future generations. Thank you.
We've got you a picture of the water wheel happening with reconstruction. So we know you were adamant about that being put back in place, and we appreciate your support. Helping us get there and all the things, dealing with FEMA to make sure it got resurrected again. And you've been paid for it.
Speech.
So it has been my honor and privilege for the past 10 years to represent Weaverville, both as a council member and as mayor. Several years ago, I presented my council members with, excuse me, I should know better. Several years ago, I presented all the council members with a little sticker that said, "We're part of the Get Stuff Done Club." Actually, that was a different wording. But I will say that in the past few years, that's exactly what we have done in this council. We've got a lot of stuff done. A lot of things have been happening in the past few years. A lot of things will continue to happen. I feel very secure knowing that this group of people behind me are going to be leading us that way. And I also wanted to say thanks to all the outstanding staff persons that I've had the opportunity to work with over the past several years. You all are a great team. Thank you very much.
Council, you've had an opportunity to see the agenda, and are there any corrections, changes you'd like to make to the agenda at this time? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval and adjustments to the agenda is passed. It's my duty as the mayor of every town council member to avoid both conflicts of interest and appearance of conflicts. Does any member have any known conflict of interest or appearance of conflict with respect to any matters coming before town council tonight? Thank you very much. Mr. Harris, could you take us through the consent agenda, please?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, council members. On page 16, you have your November 17th, 2025 town council regular minutes. Moving along to page 21, you have your monthly tax report. A summary of that tax report shows that 46.11% of the town's property tax has been collected as of year-end November for the total of $2,237,462.58 out of the $4,852,218.67 of the total tax levy. Moving along to page 27, you have a budget amendment. The fire department received grant funds of $50,000 in November of 25 from the Office of State Fire Marshal for a lean disaster recovery program. The funds must be spent on either storm-related or wildfire responses. The town collected an additional $2,475 in the Cops for Kids donation during November, December, bringing the total for fiscal year $3,933.31. As you're aware, on a vehicle the police department had struck out on the interstate, it was deemed a total loss, and the town has received insurance proceeds of $19,521.66, which will be poured toward the purchase of the cost of a replacement vehicle. Moving along on page 29, our holiday calendar. You can see the dates there for the scheduled holidays to be adopted by the town in that message. On page 30, it's Lake Louise culvert repair. During one of the severe storms, when Lake Louise Drive was damaged and causing a sinkhole, staff received 2 comparable bids for repairs to the culvert. NHM Construction Incorporated has provided a quote of $155,235,
and TP Howard provided a quote of $155,720. Staff and is recommending that council approve the bid from NHM as its lower bid for the work and related budget amendment. Moving along to page 40, a water commitment. You have a water commitment. The town granted a water commitment for the townhouse project planned at 6 Pleasant Grove Road in a letter dated 29 April 2025. The developer is requesting an amendment to extend the project and the water request from 43 to 51 townhouse units. The Public Works Director has looked at the available capacity and believes that there is sufficient capacity for the additional units. This commitment is valid until April of 2026, but development does not expect the water system to be under construction before the expiration of the commitment, so they have requested a one-year extension to run from April 29th, 2026. Myself and the Public Works Director recommend approval of the amendment as requested. On moving to page 43 in your agenda packet, an additional water commitment renewal for Advent Health. The town granted a water commitment for Advent Health Hospital Campus dated 15 August 2025, with the commitment expiring on 10 December 2025. The applicant has indicated that the project is underway, but they have not yet started construction of the water system. The applicant is requesting a one-year extension of the water commitment for the project above. Myself and the Public Works Director is recommending approval for that. Mr. Mayor, Council, that concludes your consent agenda. If you'd like to make a motion on that, approve the consent agenda as presented.
Your motion to approve the consent agenda.
Make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Very good, thank you very much. Town manager's report is next.
Yes, sir, Mayor, Council. A couple activities. The holiday season is upon us. We had our holiday parade on December 6th. I'm thankful for the amount of attention from town staff as well as volunteers put into it to making sure it was a safe and enjoyable event. Also this year on the candlelight stroll that occurred on December 12th, the town partnered with WBA, the Weaverville Business Association, during that event and created a Winter Wonderland project on Florida Avenue, making a family-friendly aspect as we move into the warmer weather months as well. So, our Main Street Nature Park, there was an invasive plant work day that was done on December 10th in conjunction with volunteers coordinated by Asheville Greenworks. We had 11 volunteers come out that morning to directly contribute to the beautiful park space there, and additional work days will be planned. For your fiscal year 24-25 financial audit update, as mentioned previously, for our fiscal year financial audit must include a single audit from FEMA grant monies received. Each year the federal government publishes compliance guidelines auditors must follow. But this year the supplement was delayed due to the government shutdown and just released last week. Our auditors believe we can still meet the December 31st deadline without requesting an extension. If everything goes as planned, our audit will be submitted to the LGC by the end of December and presented to council at your January meeting. If not, an extension will be requested. A reminder for our water customers, those who receive e-statements through South Data, we will be discontinuing utilizing South Data for printing emails or bills effective January 1st of 26. Please set up a new account with our MyGovHub portal, which will directly integrate with our new accounting software. And again, those that needing will still be able to receive the paper copies. We conducted during the SNAP and government shutdown of fundings, the town chose to do a food drive in support of that effort of deprived families at that point in time. So we worked with each department doing the food drive, and 1,344 items were collected. And the Public Works Department had the largest number of items corrected. There was a challenge amongst the departments, and the Public Works Department had the largest amount collected during that. And again, that was 1,344 items that will be donated. We're working with Congressman Edwards' office on project funding request. He asked on December 1st if we could get some funding requests to him with a deadline of December 12th. We submitted the following requests for funding considerations. The fire department's rescue truck replacement of $1.5 million, a rehabilitation of the aging water treatment plant components once the new portion of the plant comes online, $1 million, and a purchase of an additional sanitation truck and leaf vacuum for public works, approximately $700,000. This past week, I was out of the office attending a leadership conference at the School of Government for that class. They had over 150 applicants and only select 50 each year. It was paid for by a scholarship through Civic Credit Union Foundation. So I was very fortunate to be able to attend that. Some of the instructors, they had some practitioners, which were current county manager, but most of the practitioners were professors with the School of Government and UNC Chapel Hill who do their doctorate in leadership research. So we're very fortunate to be able to attend that program. Your upcoming meeting events, town offices will be closed December 24th through the 26th in observance of holidays. January 1st, town offices are closed in observance of New Year's Day. January 19th, offices will be closed in observance of Martin Luther King Day. And January 20th is your next council workshop. And January 26th is your council regular meeting schedule. That concludes the manager's report, sir.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate that. It's time now that we can entertain comments from our audience. Town council appreciates the opportunity to hear from its residents, and a part of each of its regular meetings is reserved for that purpose. The rules that town council has adopted for public comments will apply. Copies are available on the website and in the meeting room. General public comments may be submitted during the meeting or in writing in advance on any meeting topic or any other item of interest. Normal rules of decorum apply to all comments, and duplicate comments are discouraged. Actions and behavior can be questioned, but personal attacks will not be tolerated. This is a time for town council to listen. The town council and staff may not necessarily offer any response during this time. The general public comments section of the meeting will be limited to 20 minutes. Comments during the meeting are generally limited to 3 minutes. The town manager, I think everybody knows, keeps time. If the alarm indicates that your 3 minutes are up, you will not be cut off mid-sentence, but you'll be asked to wrap up your statements. You must be recognized before giving your comment, and you must come to the podium to speak so we can all hear you. You should identify yourself by name before beginning your comments. Written comments timely received before the meeting have been or will be provided to town council. We have a list here. People have signed up to speak. Barbara Booty.
I am here to talk about something that I've had to live through in the last 4.5 years. It started in March of 2021. Our neighbors were using meth. Then they got a camper where they moved, Then they got a camper where they were growing marijuana plants and targeted teenagers, telling them since they are minors, they will not get in trouble for using and selling marijuana for them. So many teenagers would go over there after school, weekends, during the night, and then they started skipping school, going to my neighbors, where these neighbors would be in the driveway smoking weed with the teenagers. These neighbors, this couple, are in their mid-30s. We called the cops. The neighbors harassed us. It got so bad, the harassment from the neighbors, because we called and reported it, that I got on TikTok to tell our story. And Neighborhood Wars on A&E, we filmed on November 19th, because it's so crazy. We've been told by deputies that the DA doesn't want cases related to marijuana. 2 to 3 years ago, a truck flipped by Walmart. The deputies told my husband this kid was under the influence, and he gave the cops my neighbor's address. One day when the kids were smoking marijuana in the driveway with this couple, a task force pulled in over there. They ran the kids off, And again, nothing happened to this couple. Once they knew they were being watched, they got a 15-year-old to sell the marijuana for them, that they actually moved into their home. When it comes to our children, we need to do better. They need to be a priority. There needs to be stricter laws against these drug dealers targeting our children. In 2022, CDC reported 30.7% of teenagers have used cannabis. The brain does not stop developing until the age of 25. Also, 39% of teenagers that use marijuana have lower grades. 50% will not obtain a high school diploma. 28% will not attend a college or university, and 31% will not get a college degree. Marijuana impacts the brain development, memory, learning, coordination, and judgment. It causes lower IQ scores, anxiety, depression, psychosis, academic struggles, and poor life outcomes like dropping out of school or work problems. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Keith McCurry.
The next three have allotted their time to me. That should be 12 minutes. Is that approvable?
Which three, on the list?
Pam McCurry, yes, they're on the list. Pam McCurry, Gordon Ball, and Gabriel Walsh. They've allotted me their time. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. I do want to congratulate the new members at our own town council. Congratulations, and we wish you well for what you have accomplished. So good luck. Tonight, I wanted to speak again on the development at 10 Silverwood Farm Road, and I do know that you are no longer going to be annexing this property. The application for annexation was removed. But I think there is still some things that need to be discussed. Tuesday before Thanksgiving, on November 25th, we got an email stating from LDG that they were only going to annex, or wanting you to annex 16.8 acres, and then the remaining development was going to be taken to Buncombe County. And the reason was, it was in the email, and I don't know if some of you got this email. I see some of you's names on it, but the discussion was in the last council meetings that the community does not bring enough taxes in to pay for the firefighters and the police that will be needed to cover the 107 acres. Then the town is concerned also about the lack of design detail available for the project, and yet we still have no design detail except those two pictures that were sent on those emails. And then third, there is still a concern around the impact of annexing the 107 acres that will have on the town's ability, on their 10% ability to annex more. Well, the third one has been done away with because you're no longer going to annex it. And then the second one you don't have to worry about the drawings and the design plans. But the first one you do still have to worry about. Now what I want to say is to this town of Weaverville is not out of this. Now, I don't know if the developer LDG knows this or not, but this 107 acres that is at 10 Silverwood Farm Road, whether or not you had annexed all of it, part of it, and now none of it, the Weaverville Fire Department still services this property. And that means that if Buncombe County does approve this development, those 9 firemen will still have to be hired by the Weaverville Fire Department. Now, which means this same fire report that was turned in by the chief will follow them to Buncombe County, and they will review this along with this email stating of why they are not annexed or not wanting you to annex this as well. So in their own words, they have acknowledged that this town, nor could Buncombe County afford this as well, because this money is intertwined with you guys and us. You represent us too. Even though we don't live in the town, you guys still represent us because we pay that North Buncombe fire tax. And that fire tax is given to y'all to distribute to the Weaverville Fire Department. So, in saying that, they will see all of this up there. And I hope the developer knows that this does go with him when they go to Buncombe County to apply for this. Now, something else that I have not seen or heard discussed in the last meetings about this, and it goes in hand with the fire and the rescue, and that is Buncombe County EOC. Now, Buncombe County EOC handles the dispatchers for Weaverville, Woodfin, and Black Mountain. And to my understanding, you have your own dedicated dispatcher for Weaverville. These 3 municipalities do, to my understanding. Am I correct? But in that, Weaverville is the fastest growing town in Buncombe County. Now, you're fixing to add on these other developments that's fixing to come online. And these dispatchers, what I want to ask, what is the call volume that is going to trigger the town of Weaverville of having 2 dispatchers per shift? Because that means you're going to have to add 3 dispatchers. That is 1 per shift. That's 3 shifts, 3 dispatchers. So I hope that you understand that, especially you new ones. You may have to add another dispatcher to this, or 3 more. And that money comes out. I know you pay a fee to Buncombe County EOS or EOC for those dispatchers, radio upkeep and whatnot. So that is not have been discussed previously. And then also it was discussed in the last meeting here this past Tuesday about the fire rating that's coming up. And that is, I think February was mentioned, that ISO fire rating. And that fire rating goes in hand with this too. All of these developments that's coming online, that could drive the fire rating one way or the other. If the town of Weaverville does not have the fire equipment to do this and service this, doesn't have the staff, that ISO rating could change. That affects my homeowner's insurance and fire insurance, causes it to go up. And I think this really needs to be considered because you're affecting everybody in your town with these ratings change with that. Now, in saying that, I'm finished with that. But another question I have for the council that was brought to my attention is tonight you're going to be discussing or voting on the water commitment or the extension to this property, whether or not to give them water. Now, I printed this off the internet, which is your agenda packet, comes from you. And I wanted to read something. I want to make sure this is correct. So if you have this page 50 out, I wanted to read this. In the sentence, and I'm going to start down here about middle ways through the first paragraph. Their request indicated that a proposed development on the property listed above would consist of 17 multifamily apartment buildings, that is 24 units per building, 180 residential subdivision lots, and a commercial component. The requested domestic water service for the units totaling approximately 11,847 gallons per day. And then based on a review, it was determined that our water system has adequate capacity to serve the connection. Is that what that says on your paper? 11,847?
Yes.
All right, on page 51, this is their application. I would like to read what their application, and I want to verify this number. Down where it says capacity requested, maximum gallons per day is 118,470. Here is almost 107,000 gallon discrepancy between these two papers. And you are to vote on tonight for just 11,847. So which is
I
it?
think it's a typo.
What are you going to vote on tonight? There is 107,000 gallon discrepancy here. Now, in that discrepancy, whether it's a typo or not, doesn't matter. There's a discrepancy here. Now, that's 107,000 gallons per day discrepancy. That's 1 million gallons in a week. And that's 10 days. That's 40 million in a year discrepancy right there. So I think the town council needs to take a look at this before they vote this tonight and make sure these numbers are correct. Because you may be voting something here and then they're using more water and this could mess your numbers up right here. So I would like that review because you either got to table it or if they do, they only get 11,847, then they got to come back and reapply for the other 107,000 that they got to have for this. That is my time. I yield all back. That's all I had for tonight. I thank you for your time and good luck to the new council members. Thank you.
Thank you.
ask, can we get a reminder of the state required gallons per unit on the application versus what's actually used?
The state required is 400.
400.
Is it on? It's on.
I think I know the number.
It's 400.
It's 400.
Versus 125.
Yeah.
All right, any other comments, questions? She's coming up? Yeah.
Can you hear me a little better now? Thank you. It's 400 gallons per day. That is the state number, and there is a typo in the agenda packet had went out before we could recall it. We were aware that there is a typo, and the gentleman that spoke is correct. The maximum amount of usage per the engineer's calculations, they use that state figure, and they calculated that they would use a maximum of 118,470 gallons per day. And when these water applications are submitted, we request that the applicants, when they do their calculations, these calculations are, if every single thing in the system was turned on all at once, the state has a number. And I'm not sure exactly how they arrive at determining that number, because the number that we use is a lot less. We divide by 4 for like residential uses. That's a realistic number when we calculate our capacity, but it is the maximum amount of water that you could possibly use. It really, I don't want to say it's an unrealistic number, but it is. You're not going to just turn every little thing on and use it all at once. But I use these numbers, and I put that number in my description when we get to talk about the water commitment for transparency. Does that answer your question?
Yes, great. Thank you
Yes,
for
thank you.
clarifying that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments about that? Well, that is kind of the end of the public comments, so we can have discussion items that we've got here on the agenda. And the first one is the ABC Board. Mr. Chason?
Thank you. Welcome new members. My name is Rob Chason. I am the chairman of the ABC Board here in Weaverville. Just a little bit of background on the store itself. It was commissioned in 2008, I believe, and actually opened in 2009. We were initially, gross sales were around $1 million a year. This last fiscal year, we topped $5 million, which, as you all are aware, the profits from the store go directly back to the town. We use the town police department as our law enforcement, which is required by the commission, as well as the alcohol education. There's a required disbursement for that from the store, and that goes back to the town as well for the police department to use. This year coming up is an exciting year for the store. We have just recently purchased the unit next door to us, which is currently housed by U.S. Cellular. Their lease officially runs through the end of 27, but with the latest news of the merger between U.S. Cellular and T-Mobile, we hopefully think that they'll move out sooner than their 2 years. That's our current store is about 4,000 square feet. With the addition of this new unit, theirs is another 2,400 square feet, which we need the space. We need warehouse space and we need retail space, certainly, for the growth that we see coming at this point in time. But so hopefully that will happen sooner than the end of 27, which we have inklings that might happen, but there's nothing official. The other thing, this last year, the store, we did our first official barrel pick, where the distilleries send in a sample and we decide which one we want to represent the store. So it's currently on sale now, and as part of the label, we were able to put on it, Weaverville, 150th anniversary. So it is still available while it's still available. Once it's gone, it's gone. So, that's really it in a nutshell. I was very pleased to see that we had gone over the $5 million mark. We had been knocking on that proverbial door for the last 2 or 3 years, and so we finally pushed over it. But so we're excited about the coming year. Questions, comments?
Couple questions for you, Rob. First of all, thanks for being the chairman for, I think you're on 12 years?
I think so.
Yeah, thanks for all you do. So you mentioned, and I may be behind the 8 ball because I just got up here. You bought the unit next door. Did we pay cash or did we finance that?
We financed that, sir.
What interest rate did we pay?
Don't know off the top of my
Okay.
head.
And so do we currently own it, and are we getting the money from US Cellular for the
Yes.
lease?
Yes,
Okay, and is that lease, do you think, more than the mortgage payment?
it is not.
Okay. Then you got assets exceeding liabilities by over $500,000, which is wonderful. You may not know this, but not trying to put you on the spot. Do you know what the assets are and what the liabilities are?
Not off the top of my head.
All right, no problem. And just double checking, your fiscal year is the same as the town, right?
That's correct,
All right, thank you, Rob.
certainly.
I had a question about I guess the bourbon that you labeled with the town of Weaverville.
Yes, sir.
Is that a fundraiser or is it just,
It is something that a lot of stores will do. You have it's something that you get to pick. It is still regulated through the commission. They set the price and what we purchase it for, and they set the price what we get to sell it for, so.
all right,
But it's another item that, when somebody comes in and sees that here you've got something with the name Weaverville on it, and it's Asheville does, I don't know, they do several a year, but this was our first one.
Any other questions, comments?
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to circle back to the water commitment extension request for Ken Silverwood. So, will Public Works Director Reese, can you gather your data and come back and give us a little bit more insight into this?
Thank you, council. On November 5th, the town of Weaverville received a water commitment extension request submitted for the 10 Silverwood Farm development. That's also known as Bluemont, just if you see that word in there, Bluemont project. Their request indicated a proposed development of the property listed. It consists of 17 multifamily apartment buildings. They estimate 24 units per building, 180 residential subdivision lots, and a commercial component. They requested domestic water service for the units totaling approximately, there was a typo, I apologize, 118,470 gallons per day. Based on our review of this figure, it was determined that the water system does have adequate capacity to serve this connection. The annexation petition for the property has been withdrawn by the owner, as you're aware. The developer has stated that they are willing to annex the property into the town if that were to become a condition of the water approval. The town manager and I both recommend approval for this application for connection, and I would like to in your agenda packet, I believe it would be 50, maybe page 52, it's 51 or 52, so you've got the application on 51, and if you look at 52, that this is the engineering flow rates that they calculated. So you can kind of see where they were calculating. It's the total gallons per day. And there's gallons per day, gallons per minute on there. So you can see that the numbers just, they weren't pulled out of the air, but that's legitimate that they have this. I can try to answer any questions if the council has them.
Any questions?
Yeah, I got a lot of questions, but are we going to hear from the developer?
No, sir.
No.
No,
Okay.
sir. Unless council requests that at an additional.
They are in the audit if you'd like to hear.
No, no. Can I ask a quick question of the attorney?
Shoot.
It's been 2 years since I've been on council. Do we have to sell them the water based on state law and the size of our new treatment facility and the USDA loan?
It's been a while. It was back in my county days, and the planning director got pulled into a situation where he was dealing with some of his colleagues here in Weaverville, and I helped look it up with him at that time. I believe it's part of the grant language, and I spoke with Ms. Jackson about this before the meeting. I believe that if water is available, you have to allow it to be connected. I'm not prepared to explain the why and how, but that has been my understanding.
So I think we need to get that clarified, and then what I don't know, and I'm in agreement with you, is when you say where it's available, so within how many meters, there should be some number to go, yeah, it's available, but are we gonna run 10 miles of line up there? So there's gotta be something in writing that defines when we have to sell, because the only reason I'm saying is maybe out of our hands. You know, if the state law, because the USDA loan, but we better know the language, we may not have a choice. I think Jennifer's coming to the mic.
With your permission, I'm happy to answer that. I was part of those discussions however many years ago. And you have a USDA revenue bond on the system, and that USDA loan was put in place for the extension. But what is pledged to support or collateralize that loan and that bond is the revenue on the water system, which means that the USDA says you have to, as a condition of that bond, you have to provide if water is available, if there's capacity in your system to fill a request, you have to fill that request. We did have that specific conversation with the USDA representatives and their attorneys.
Do you remember, so again, back to how close is, I mean, I don't remember if it was that specific on how far we got to pay to run pipe. Do you remember?
So it isn't pipe specific.
Yep.
Because it is the system revenues that are pledged to it. So actually, this is in that area where the line is pretty close. It was a more interesting question like out Reems Creek, which has nothing to do with that extension, but the same answer was, it really doesn't matter where on the system this is gonna plug into. It's the system revenues that are pledged, and so any extension of the water system must be made, any request must be approved if there's capacity in your system. And that's the numbers, the analysis that Ms. Reese's department does for you.
Right, so we have, I'm looking at your last page, Ms. Reese, which we'll get to, I guess, at the end. It's like 1,283 units on pending, the very last page of the agenda packet. I don't have a calculator on me. So pending, construction, pending, permitting.
Are you in the report?
I'm just, yeah, her report on the very last page. Water commitments, your last page of the whole thing. It's like 1,200 units that are already in construction,
Pledged.
permitted or pending, so the first 10. So it's about 1,200-ish. So that's, we already got that in the queue. Those are done and I believe approved.
Yes, sir, you're referring to on the, I apologize, this is tiny, on the left side where it says construction, permitting and.
Yep,
Yes, sir.
the first 10.
Those are already accounted for.
Yep, and that's about, if you do the math in your head, it's, I think, about 1,200. So it's,
Yes, we've got 387 gallons per day already committed, total outstanding commitments.
so if this is approved plus that, what percent, and you may not know this, what percent does that put us at our capacity?
Yes, sir, that's a very good question. I poured over this for days. So if you look at the very bottom, there's a couple of figures down there, and it says one of them is 55.80%.
Yep,
That is our estimated demand on our system. Those are the realistic numbers I was telling you about that staff have used for years. You take the state number and divide it by 4, and that is our realistic capacity demand on the system with these projects in place.
right, which is why you're saying we have enough water, because we know we have enough water.
If this is approved, yes, sir.
I'll stop talking. My only opinion is, I don't think we can vote on it until we get clear, I believe Jennifer, but I'm not an attorney, and she's not our attorney anymore, so, I think we better know what the state law is to a T, or with that loan, what the federal law is then. If we have to sell it, then it's not up to us. So I appreciate Mr. McCurry's comments, and I'm in support of not selling him the water, but it may not be up to me.
So my concern is when we have these forecasted developments coming and the forecasted water request that's coming, when those things hit online and they're actually receiving the water from us, are we gonna then have our water treatment plant finished so that we can supply this, or is it at that capacity now?
We have discussed this week, Randall and I, and some other staff about that, because when the projects come online, that does become an issue for
Right.
demand. However, we base these numbers off today's capacity, not future, not that 3 million gallons. That is separate and apart from what we assess today. So anything we approve, the council approves as water commitments is based on the current capacity of the current
Okay.
treatment plant,
Thank you.
not future.
Thank
But
you.
it will have an impact. Anything does if you have developments coming online really, really quick. It is a consideration.
And I have a question. What do we think the commercial business development is going to do to this demand? I know it says future use, but is there anything we can use to gauge what that might do to the demand?
It is public record. It came through in one of my emails. The proposed idea is a daycare to serve the workforce housing for the employees who they perceive will benefit from this development, who may work at the hospital or in healthcare. That was the conversation. The developer was willing to drop it, but I believe that may affect their ability to secure grants or loans to do this type of project for the area. But it was a daycare because that was a question. I mean, a brewery uses way more than a daycare.
So Director East, it looks like committed plus requested is gonna put 9.5% more demand on our current capacity, which we're running at 46.3 from your November report?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So about 10% more.
We got plenty of water, and we're doubling it. This was why I voted against it. Look at it, you go look at all these projects, the next project, but we did it, so it's coming. She's right, with this, it'll be at 56 on the 1.5, and we're gonna make 3 So I think we're gonna have a hard time saying no to people and go, we don't have capacity when they get online, we're gonna have 3 million gallons a day.
And if there's anything you would like us to provide you for more clarity, if you would let the manager know, he would pass that down to us. I'm more than happy. That my dabbling in it was a little more than just, let's say, confusing.
Anything else?
So, do we have a projection of when the water expansion would be completed?
I am hesitant to give anybody a date on that. That depends on a lot of factors. It depends on how fast permitting goes. It depends on costs, if they run into problems, materials, securing materials. In an ideal situation, it would go, I would hope within 3 years, but I don't want to give you a date because I don't know. You know, we can project out, it could be 3 years, it could be 4 or 5 years, I don't know. I do have a meeting on Thursday with the project team, and I can get a little more clarity to just kind of see where it's going, and I'm going to give you an update at the end with some stuff.
Thank you.
Okay. Move on, the Main Street Nature Park Stormwater Project update.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I'm here representing the developer in that project, and I have 2 minutes to address the board.
I think that would be appropriate.
Okay, thank you. Bo Carpenter here on behalf of LDG Development, and I think I might have some answers to some of these questions that are being asked. 2018 is when this body passed the loan resolution for the USDA loan, which I have in my hand right now. The standard for water is that you have to provide it if it's feasibly, if legally able to be served. That's the language in the USDA loan. And here, you already have that conclusion that it is. You have the conclusion that there is capacity. So I don't think this board has a choice based on this language, but to approve the water allocation request. And that's not just me saying that, that's Ms. Jackson, the former board attorney, who quite frankly knows her stuff with respect to local government. Mr. Frew also knows this stuff as well. And so I don't think you have a choice in this respect. And I don't, and respectfully, we'd ask you not push off the vote because there's nothing to clarify. And we've been working at this for quite a long time. A couple other points of clarification. First of all, yes, there was a typo on the application. Excuse me, there's a typo on the staff report, but not on the application. So I do want to be clear that you're voting on the application, which is included in the meeting agenda. And the typo I noticed on Friday, and I had a bit of a heart attack about that, but then I confirmed it with Ms. Reese and Ms. Jackson that it was a typo. And the request does seem large, but do know that they are proceeding with an entitlement with the county for this project. The project itself will not come online until 2027. And what they're submitting to the county is only for a small portion of this property. And it's much, much less than the capacity that's being asked for. It's approximately, one second. It's much fewer units than was being asked. I believe it's 178 units is all that's being asked for at this time. And that will come online in 2027. So even that amount will come on when, I believe when the new water facility is already there. So there is capacity. They're certainly feasible and legally able to be served. And so I don't think this board has a choice but to approve it. And again, that's not just my opinion. That's what the language says, and that's what Ms. Jackson and the staff agrees with. So we'd ask you go ahead and approve it tonight. There's no reason to delay. We have been in front of this board and the planning board several times for the annexation request. We've heard the concerns with annexation, and based on those concerns, we've taken out, withdrawn the annexation request. And so And this is a reminder that this is an affordable housing project, which I understand that's not something that the board wants to pay for as part of annexation, but it's something this board can support by providing the water to this planned project. And so, and I don't need to tell this board of the need for affordable housing in this area. And this is water that you're selling, and I believe since it's not part of the town, you'd be able to charge a higher rate for this water. And so it's not only good policy reasons for this, there's also the legal reasons where I think you have to. And so we'd ask you to pass it tonight and not delay on this. And just so you know, there are timelines we have with respect to the county entitlement process. That's a planned unit development quasi-judicial process. So the gentleman who spoke tonight will have a chance to speak also with the county as part of that process before the Board of Adjustment. So we do have certain deadlines we have to meet there, and this water allocation is crucial to getting that development off the ground with the county. So again, we ask you not to delay today's vote and vote on it for policy reasons and for legal reasons.
Mayor, can I ask him a quick question? Maybe I misheard you. Did you say this council doesn't want to support low-income housing for tax purposes? Or did I mishear you?
No, we had a board meeting in November in which we were here on the annexation request to set up for a public hearing. And the board raised a number of concerns. Paramount among those was tax revenue. And if they were annexed into the town, affordable housing was annexed to the town, that would not be taxable income going into the town.
So the Monticello project behind Walmart is low income, and we approved that. And so I don't know what board you're talking about. You're talking about the council?
Yes.
The previous council. So the previous council said they didn't want to support low income housing on tax because of no tax revenue. I missed that meeting. We're not going to get tax revenue on the hospital either. The town's fine for money. I don't know why anybody would have told you that. What is it? It's 408 apartments and 180 residents, something like that. 24 times 17. Either way, it doesn't matter. Again, I'll stick to my recommendation. He doesn't set our timeline. Just because he says it's until I think our attorney looks at the document with the loan, and I appreciate Jennifer's opinion. I agree with Jennifer. As I already said, I'm not the attorney, and I'd like to see a legal document and recommendation from the attorney. And then you're going to get it, because I think it's the federal law. But I don't want to do anything without knowing about it. So
Is that something we can do and accomplish that?
I can do that. I'm not prepared to give you an opinion today, but I can
Okay.
certainly do it by sometime next month.
I think that would be a good thing to do.
So I make a motion, we kick it, I know you're not going to like it, but that we move it to next month till we hear from our attorney. And then I think it'll be what it is.
All right, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm here to talk to you just briefly about a project that began several years ago, and this is for our Main Street Nature Park, and it involves a stormwater project and some stream bank stabilization. And there's a concept plan that is shown in your packet that previous iterations of town council were pretty excited about. That would essentially really improve the functionality of the two stormwater ponds that essentially flow from the parking lot, the clock parking lot, and then the parking lot behind Town Hall back into the nature park and filters the stormwater. This kind of was highlighted with Helene, the real need to make sure that we've got good stormwater management in all of our areas, including back behind this building. So we were able to get some grant funds beginning about a year ago with a grant application to the Division of Water Resources. That grant was about $180,000. And then most recently, we were able to let you know that we got another $35,000 from the Pigeon River Fund, with possibilities for more funding in future cycles. And so we're trying to put the funding package together with the goal. Land to Sky Regional Council's goal is to have this as funded with grant funds as much as possible. So we're getting there. But what's on tonight's agenda is the design contracts with Blue Earth for their engineering and stormwater design, and then Osgood Landscape Architects, OLA, for their landscape design and surveying, and then also the Land to Sky Regional Council Grant Administration Grant Services Agreement. So those are the 3 agreements that we need to go ahead and get approval on, so we can start spending that $35,000 towards the design of this. So, any questions? I've been trying to put alignment, strategic plan alignment, on where we see a direct alignment, and you will see Goal 5, infrastructure and environmental resilience. That directly talked about grant funding for this particular project, and then your parks, recreation, special events, and community vitality. We thought both of those impacted this project.
Any comments about this?
The plan, I think the plan looks great. I think we should support it. I'd be in favor of making a motion.
The motion also, if I could mention, I failed to just a second ago, because we do have multiple grant funding sources for this, and it's really likely to cross in from more than one fiscal year, we're proposing a grant project ordinance for this project, so that we can keep good accounting of all the funds related to this. So you also see that in your packet. So we would ask that you consider approvals to adopt the grant project ordinance, approve the agreements with Land to Sky Regional Council, Blue Earth, and Osgood Landscaping, and then authorizing staff to execute those.
All right, I would make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, for those of you who are looking at page 85 is where we're headed. There's been some discussion about modifying our rules of procedure for the dates of our meetings. We were running up to where we had meetings that were kind of too close together and farther apart and kind of moving around. So we're trying to come up with like having a 2-week between meetings so that we can work. If we have to do work between meetings to get ready for the next meeting, we can do that. So that's what this is kind of aimed at. Jennifer can explain it better than I can, but it seems like, to me, it makes sense because lots of times things fall through the cracks. And if we have a little bit of wiggle room in that time frame, it will make sense, make it a little bit easier for us to get our hands around some of this stuff. So,
I believe a similar schedule with the 2 weeks in between was a previous iteration, if I remember correctly.
right. So that's going to require the changes to the Rule 9 of the Rules of Procedure. So, can you, Jennifer, is that something your department would be working with?
We certainly welcome whatever schedule town council would like to put in place. We can make that change and then put that back on your consent agenda in a formal way. Just if you'll let us know how you want that done.
Ms. Jackson, do you see any obstacles or impediments that this town staff might have to resetting the schedule this way?
I don't. Manager Harris may have a different opinion. I'll tell you, it probably helps us a bit just to have it separated.
Especially
really all
with
I
the
need to
agenda,
know.
yeah, trying to review the agenda and put it together. I mean, like, for example, last week you had a meeting, then turn around and have another meeting this week, so it does gives us time to prepare the agenda packet and go over it with the mayor prior to releasing the agenda. So,
Well, then it certainly would be better. Okay.
yes, sir.
Quick, can I ask a,
Yeah, one comment I have is, the workshop is on a Tuesday, the regular meeting's on a Monday. Would it be helpful or to align the days to be like Monday for the workshop, Monday for the regular meeting? Just to, I mean, I think it would help. Yeah, I think it'd be better in my, yeah.
me too.
So what I'm hearing is a consensus to move your workshop meeting to the second Monday. Keep your regular meeting on the fourth Monday. And with that, and if that's the, think if we can have a consensus tonight, what we can do is we can go ahead and publish your calendar and then bring back that rule amendment at your meeting in January.
Sounds good. I think that's it.
Quick one, I still got a question for you. Rule 9A, I'm not familiar with Rule 9A. Where does the 3-minute timer come into place?
That's probably in the appendix to your rules of procedure. There's an appendix that is your rules of public comment.
Just something to think about for the mayor and the rest, whether 3 minutes, I mean, we don't have that many people talk, right? So we're not in a hurry to get out of here. I don't know where 3 minutes came from. It's been that way since when I was on council. I'd rather see it be more than 3 minutes because I don't think it'll be abused. So that just made me think about that. Just my opinion. More time for the people to,
I think we should move forward with changing.
Pontificate.
Okay, and then we can certainly circle back to that if you wish.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, boards and committees, it's gonna be that time where we have to look at what the town council assignments or anybody else that wants to look at what happens in the committees. So, I know we've had some discussion about this and some people raised their hands. How does council feel about going about figuring out who should be made liaison to these committees? Should we have an application process like we did for town council?
Or just raise our hand.
Or
Just raise your
nominate,
hand.
yeah, discussion.
There are lots of committees, and actually, Jennifer, I did talk to Doug Dirt about MSD, and he's a go for that. Okay, where's the list? Okay, so there are quite a number here, so expect to see lots of hands.
Mr. Mayor, before you start, I don't see any listing here of anything about the hospital coming. So I know that's not been a usual committee that we've had here, and I don't know that we need a committee, but having a liaison between the council and the hospital might be something to consider.
I think that's something that we've talked about, and I think that's a good idea. I don't know why it's not on here. I do remember seeing it in one iteration, so that it's been talked about. So we'll just make sure that gets added back on. So just show of hands, I'll just read them off. If you're interested, raise your hand. Okay?
quick question, Mayor. May not know exactly what these all do. I don't know if somebody has a explanation, if we've got new council members that don't know what's required from these boards. I don't know if Jennifer has that, possibly. Like, how often do they meet? Like the Land-O-Sky Regional Council Board, how often do they meet? Who else sits on that board?
Happy to answer what I know. Land-O-Sky Regional Council Board, I really don't know much about that one. I know this is one where we do have to have an elected official appointed both as the regular delegate and an alternate delegate. Let's
Patrick. I don't know how often they're meeting. I would think once a month, but I don't know that for sure.
James says once a month.
Once a month, and I don't know when during
Okay.
the month that is. French Broad River MPO, once a month. Do you know which date? Do you know which?
That's
meeting?
important.
The MPO meets the third Thursday of the month at 1.
Third Thursday of the month at 1. The MPO, that is very traffic oriented. Landeskai, let's back up. Landeskai Regional Council, that is a council of government. It operates as a governmental entity. The whole state is divided into these councils of government, and it's multiple counties within each council of government. It is a great resource, and it is you have legal representation on their board. French Broad River MPO, which is Metropolitan Planning Organization, that is mostly transportation oriented, pretty far reaching as far as projects are concerned, dealing mostly with DOT related projects. Again, we do need a town council representative for that one. Catherine Cordell most recently served in that one. Mr. Chase, did you serve on that before?
I did for my first year, and there are lots of acronyms.
Yes.
It can be a little dry at first, but by the end of the year, I was kind of really into it. And,
Sounds like you want to be back on it.
But I'm not volunteering.
I'm sorry, Tamara?
Generally, the Land of Sky, their meetings are the first Wednesday of the month, according to their notices, and they do hold them remote. You can either attend in person or remotely.
And I know the MPO board would have a remote option as well. I'm not sure if they still do.
I think Catherine said that
Yeah, they do.
I think they do.
Mhm.
Fortunately, my work schedule doesn't allow me at Thursday at 1, but, yes, you know.
So the MSD board, this is your Metropolitan Sewage District Board. As you probably know, all of the public sewer within the county is administered through this county Metropolitan Sewage District. And so we do have a representative that you have appointed, town council has appointed. Doug Dirth is currently serving as your representative on that board. And he is asked, I think about quarterly, to come present to you a report on what they're working on. Your planning board, again, this is a town council appointed board. This is the only legally required board that you are not allowed to sit on. And the reason for that is that the statutes would like that to be truly an independent thinking body. It's 5 regular members and 2 alternate members. And that was full until the municipal election. We now have 2 vacancies that we will need to appoint. So the mayor will be working on those with the board chair. Those appointments do come to you. Mayor recommended, town council appointed. Board of Adjustment is another legally required board. That is what I will say is your quasi-judicial board, where they're doing hearings to determine rights, whether it's a variance request or an administrative appeal. That's a pretty, I would say it's not overly active. They don't meet very regularly. Peter has served on this. They don't meet very regularly, but when they do, it's a pretty intense process. And so that's a board, again, 5 regular members, 2 alternates. There is one alternate vacancy right now. ABC board is town council appointed, plus you get to appoint their chair every year. That's a 3-member board that does the work to administer the ABC system, which we have just 1 store. Tree board, I'm looking at Tamara, I'm not sure how many members. No, how many total?
I'm sorry,
Not, so they've got 9. Some portion of those can be, the majority of those have to be town residents. There's a few of those that can be outside of town residency. And it sounds like there's one, they meet monthly, the first Wednesday of the month, and 1 vacancy there. Patriotic Committee, Councilmember Doug Jackson has been the liaison for that committee for a very long time. It's primarily what we'll say is manager appointed, but it kind of just has its own, they just do their own thing. But I do think that having a town council liaison on that board would be particularly meaningful. The Weaverville Economic Development Advisory Committee, this had, I think, originally started as a town council appointed board, but that it grew in such popularity that we're now just saying it's open, essentially open appointment. I think if you are interested in that and want to attend, they're going to allow you to attend those meetings. It's acting more like a citizen engagement committee than a town council appointed, formally appointed committee. And I know that Mr. Barnett has certainly served on that one in some capacity from the very, very beginning of its sort of reinvigoration. Active Weaverville Steering Committee, I actually had a couple of folks in my office last week, including Jeff McKenna. That is a manager-appointed committee as well. I do think it would be a good idea for a town council liaison to be appointed to that. It started as a steering committee for the Active Weaverville Bike Ped Plan. But I really think where they're thinking at this point, they're thinking of it more broadly, Active Weaverville more broadly than just the plan itself. And it may be that the Recreation Advisory Committee that is not very active, hasn't been active in several years. It may be that those two concepts kind of merge into one Active Weaverville committee that is, again, broader than just the projects that are listed on the Bike Ped Plan. WBA, it is obviously the Weaverville Business Association. They're obviously very active in our community, and I think that while it hasn't been a sort of a formal town council liaison appointed to their board or to go to their meetings, I think that has been done in the past. And so if you wanted to appoint somebody formally to that, I think that would be certainly welcome. And then to Ms. Young's idea, we don't have a hospital or Advent Health committee, but I like the idea of the liaison.
Just to reiterate something with that, the mayor and I are going to be speaking at the public hearing tomorrow at AV Tech on behalf of Advent Health.
So you've got in your notes the 2 we really need to take care of tonight are Land of Sky and the MPO.
Yes, sir. Did that answer your questions?
Thank you.
So, anyone that's particularly interested in Land of Sky? Mark, Jennifer? Okay.
I'm also interested in the French Broad MPO, so if that makes it, if others are interested in that, but like, if Jennifer wanted to do Land of Sky, I could do MPO, that's fine.
I know you've been dealing with the DOT.
Yeah, I work for the DOT presently for my day job.
WRC.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you're good with Land of Sky? Sure. All right,
MPO?
MPO?
Yep.
Okay.
And you did it, so yes.
Land of
Sky as well. I got it. Yeah, in there, you will need a delegate and an alternate for the Land of Sky, so if you still wanted to be.
I could
on
alternate.
that, you could be the
Sure.
alternate, Jennifer be the delegate, and then serve on the MPO as well. But again, Mr. Mayor, Council, that's entirely your decision, but we do need an alternate and a delegate for the Land of Sky.
So, yeah, I think that what I heard was Jennifer's Land in the Sky, and your MPO, and he's gonna be the, backup alternate for Land in the Sky.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Okay, someone like to make a motion along that line?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Last but not least, Public Works.
I think we have a
Just a
question.
moment.
We have a question? Sorry. Yes.
Mayor, I was just going to make a footnote comment concerning both WEDAC, Active Weaverville, and WBA.
Okay.
Currently, those three committees are all overlapping, fourth Tuesday of the month at the WEDAC meeting. So I'm happy to cover those three because they're already engaged together.
You've been part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Phil, I'll help you or with those. I have some interest in that as well.
Super.
So,
Right.
yeah.
I've been known to show up to those meetings too, so.
Yeah. We can tag team if we need to.
Okay, super.
Great.
Also, just before we move to the next one, I want to just ask Dee, if you wouldn't mind, on the planning board appointment, which I know is coming up, but if we can get the list of applicants, I don't think we actually have all of the applicants. And I think some of the applications have not been received by the head of the planning board. I'd like to make sure that every applicant has the opportunity to come before this council,
Yes.
Okay.
We'll reach out to the planning board and make sure we get that underway.
Thank you.
Do we need a motion for the three that Phil mentioned, or are we good? We're good?
I think we're good.
Okay.
Public Works Director Reese. Oh, she's on her way. Proactive, I like it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Congratulations on your campaigns. I look forward to serving you and the citizens of Weaverville. I have been here luckily for 6 weeks now, so I have prepared a report for you, and the one in your agenda packet is the one, it has a lot of data in it, so you will see this morphing into a different format as we move forward. I used it just to keep some continuity for this meeting, but I also prepared a handout for you, and I placed it at your spots, and I think everyone has it. And it's just a visual. I'm not sure how you would like your reports moving forward, but I thought this would be a fun little way to present some information to you. I'll start with your report in the agenda packet, and I'll just highlight a few things that's in there, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to stop me. We'll start with the Water Maintenance Division. I thought it was important to highlight the meter rereads. That's when we have to go back out and read. There's a problem, a meter's failing, or maybe a customer discrepancy, things of those natures. Really kind of surprised. I don't believe we have that many. You've got 68, 56, and 58, so a month. I would like it to be lower, and we will work on that moving forward to investigate the whys and work through that. Water line locates, so utility service calls. I do want to point this out. This is cost to 811. So when someone calls 811, the call before you dig, we have staff that go out and perform those locates. And if you look at your September number, that was very high. It's 529. Now it's down for October, November. I guess building is dropping off and people are, moving in for the winter. But that's a number to watch. And then we have water. We're still in the water maintenance. It's cut off. So we're at Water Production Division. Your total water production for the month of November was 20 million, just over 20 million gallons. And it sort of hovers around 2021, November, or October was 16. And of course, that number fluctuates through the year. You go on down, we have total unaccounted for water. That is anything like leaks or unmetered town use, so like when we fill up a tanker or something of that nature. That's about not quite 2.5, but it's at 2.3 million gallons.
Director Reese, quick question. Have we any idea about how much production we lose through the system?
Yes, sir. I believe this is line F, monthly unaccounted for water. And so there's a calculation in that, and it goes, I'm not 100% sold on the actual method of the calculation, but it's around 11%. And so the state, the acceptable rate from the state is anything lower than 20%.
But unaccounted for would not include, for example, what we're using for back flushing or in process.
I believe if I'm correct, it would.
It would.
And so the problem with that is that that's I'm working to address that through some education and with Randall's help. So my understanding is we have a meter and we're supposed to meter our own usage.
Yeah.
Regardless if it's billed or not, we would, in an ideal world, anything that we pull out of the line, we're sticking a meter on it so we can account for it.
That'd be like BC, where you got metered, non-metered, and non-billed used by town when
Yeah.
he washes the fire truck.
Yes, sir.
Right.
So it's an educational component for us internally, just to make sure it's a practice that we're continuing to do so we can be as accurate as we can moving forward. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
We are at, as we talked earlier, about 56% capacity for our projected water demand. And average relative use to the design capacity. So if you take these figures, so like November, it was 44.6%. And then you have the projected developments who make applications for water commitment. So we figured those in. And so it's a rolling number, and it'll change every month for you. In streets, they're indicating 5 streets were paid. We have 7 now. There was another one, a couple more finished, and I'll talk about those in this handout I have. Sanitation division, monthly residential collections at 4 per month. That is 9,076 for the month of November. You've got 80 business pickups, and I believe those are just one-time pickups. No, they're not 4 per month, so that'd be per month on that. Landfill, so the total tons to the landfill, according to our tickets, we get tickets when we go and dispose of things, is 128.4 tons. And our average pounds per collection, I guess we do the math and back this back out, it'd be 26 pounds per point per week. So average person's putting 26 pounds of garbage out per week. Let's see here, we've got leaf collection. So that is a large project at the end of the fall, as y'all are aware. We will be continuing that through the end of December. The superintendent advised that they will continue that into January if there is still a need, and then it'll end. They had 714 cubic yards in November, and it may be more in December. I'm not sure. So when we get those figures, we'll have that. If you'll look at your handout, we have some accomplishments, and I would like to recognize our water treatment plant. They were the recipients of the Area-Wide Optimization Program, the AWOP Award. And we'll talk about that in just a second. So we've got 2025 paving. It's at 95% completed. We have water system inspections that's been completed, and our SCADA upgrade is underway. So for projects this quarter, we'll talk about Stony Knob and water treatment expansion, the chlorine conversion, a little bit about the nature park and the water wheel. And our challenges would be staffing and logistics, growth, equipment, events and projects. And I tried to tie this report in on our accomplishments page, on the next page, page 2. to your strategic plan goals that was adopted in October. So goal number 5 is in infrastructure and environmental resilience. The Division of Water Resources Public Water Supply Section awarded the facilities, our wastewater treatment plant. It's a North Carolina area-wide optimization program award, the AWOP award. And that is part of a state effort to enhance performance of existing surface water treatment facilities. And for 2024, the state recognized only 20 in the whole state. So this is it's a big deal. I'm proud of it. I'm extremely proud of it that they got it through Helene. As you know, the Helene was devastating to our region and many water systems. So that took out. So kudos to Randall and his leadership at the water plant. And then on our other side, for our water production and the other water folks doing the work on the lines to help out. Let's see here, I lost my place. 28 years. And so this award, I believe Randall got, we've got this award for 10 consecutive years or more.
That's awesome.
And I'm not sure how many extra more, because he's kind of not the guy contact. 16? 16. See, 16. Great. So goal number 2, the next one satisfies goal number 1 and 2. So sustainable growth and emergency preparedness. This is your SCADA, and this SCADA stands for, you'll hear about this, Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition. So everybody's just going to call it SCADA. It's a fancy computer, monitors all kinds of things at the water system, gallons, everything. You can detect leaks. It's really amazing software. So they're upgrading that from some old antiquated software, and that's taken place. I think Randall got the computers in. They were shipped in this last week, and so they've set the dates to come out and install those. Goal number 5, again, this is the 2025 paving. I'm going to put this on here. It's nearly completed. They've done 7 streets. And they've got, I think, 2 left with the council's approval tonight. We'll talk about this on your Lakeshore Drive. So that was an addition that we added to that. And goal 8, the ABCCM Community Food Drive. Public Works won the townwide food drive challenge. Yes. We produced over 700 of those items. We were so proud of that. I'm proud of the staff for doing that. Challenges on page 3. In the 4th quarter, I talked about things like your strategic plan. Staffing the organization is a challenge, and so they brought me on like 6 weeks ago. So that's a challenge for anybody to go through a new director, getting used to my leadership style and me getting used to how my team works. That's going to take a little while to learn and develop our skills together as we move forward. Infrastructure management for growth. The town is experiencing, as you know, significant development, including the new hospital, which will bring increased demands on existing infrastructure, water, stormwater, roads, and staffing. Commitment to teamwork and proper staffing will be critical to our success moving forward. Operational changes and the Public Works communication. I put this in here because I thought it's of note. You may see something about it in the coming months. The department purchased a sanitation truck. That sanitation truck has spent more time in the shop this year, since they bought it this year, than it has on the road. And so that impacts operations. We are currently working with the vendor and the manufacturer for a solution, a real solution. Asking them for a new truck, a replacement. So they have it right now at their shop with engineers looking at all kinds of things. And I will give you an update when we know more about this. So our staff they're using the older garbage trucks and carrying services forward. So you're probably unaware, the public's unaware, but they work very hard. Event support and logistics, again, Public Works crews, they're involved in several events, Art in the Autumn, Holiday Parade, and the Candlelight Stroll, and that required Main Street closures and logistics support, like trash pickup and parking coordination. I will say that anything I have asked this staff to do is without complaint, 100%. You have a very hardworking public works department and water treatment. It has been very refreshing to see that and to see the work ethic of my staff. And I look forward to continue to lead them and to develop them. Projects we have going on, just some of note, there's many. Stony Knob, that is about 50% complete. If you go out the road out there, you'll see them doing a lot of things. Casey provided an update of note for the public tonight, and I believe, I'm not sure how we'll put this out, we'll probably put it on socials, but Appalachian Site Work is planning on installing a T with 3 valves at the intersection of Merriman Avenue and Garrison Road on December the 23rd at 7 p.m., which will result in a water interruption. So that came as an update today, and we'll get that out on social so people will be aware. They're doing it at night, and I think he advised it was due to conclude about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So they're trying to plan it at the least usage time. Lake Louise culvert repair, thank you council for approving that budget amendment earlier. That will result in a holistic fix to that whole area. They, you saw the pictures in the I don't want to say the presentation, the packet that I put together. The one pipe, the huge pipe that comes out from under they're really not sure exactly the path that pipe takes, but you could see if you look really close, that's not a reflection, that it's gone. And it's dangerous if there were kids or anything to get out there, but the condition of that pipe at the lake is probably representative of the condition of the pipe moving up the rest. And so the engineers both, I think one was an engineer, both of the bidders in their expertise advised that it was better to move forward with that project because they both told us we would get a sinkhole. And that was the last thing that we wanted out there. If we tried to put our pipe into the old system, he said he guaranteed it. So there was no sense in recommending something that could be reworked or cost overrun. But thank you for supporting that and having that fixed. So they expect to mobilize within about 3 weeks. So I will be dialing him up 8 o'clock in the morning. The chlorine conversion and raw water pump station generator construction finally started a couple weeks ago. So we have construction underway up there. You'll see one picture in your leaflet here. That's the parking lot. So if you're in the parking lot and you're looking up toward the big water bays, those tanks are on the left, and those little lines that you see in there, they're supposed to be a manhole there. But that's what you're looking at. We have the water wheel. So last but not least is our lovely water wheel. We had plumbers come out and install last week. They finally arrived to put some plumbing in, and that is, to my understanding, it works in a way, it puts the water on the wheel, so the wheel will turn. So now we're going to wait on Duke Energy to come out and set a pole to put power to it so the whole thing can actually work. So as soon as Duke Power comes, hopefully we'll have the wheel functional again, and that little area will be good to go. In my experience with Duke Power, it's hit or miss. They could come tomorrow or they could come in a month. It is the holidays. It depends on storms, whether their people get mobilized or not. But I thought those were some important things to highlight and show that the department's been working on. Again, if you have anything particular you are interested in seeing from us, please let the manager know. He'll pass that on to me. Yes, sir.
I just have a follow-up question about the geyser, the pump and the connection that broke.
At the lake.
Oh, yeah.
For the pump, yes, okay, so I almost put that on there. So when you look at this fountain, it's huge. It is unreal. I didn't know what it was. They put it out. It's like it looks like one of those things that you feed livestock with, but it's really huge. And there's a motor in the center of it. And so in that motor, there is it's PVC basically, and it screws into it. That's the part that keeps breaking. They're not 100% sure why, but I had contacted that company and, you know, they're not cheap. They're like $900 and something, and I said, this is broke again. Is there anything you can honor on warranty? They did. They sent us a new one, and it arrived last week. And it is slated, now that we're through the parades and everything, for our folks to put that back together and get it back in the lake and get it working again. It's my understanding, the pump is good, the actual motor is good itself. It's just this piece that keeps breaking. And it could have something to do with the torque. I don't know.
And it really does break, like
Yes.
catastrophic break.
Yes, so we don't, our goal is not to continue to put money into it, but that was free, and that's what
I was just curious after seeing it, when we did a little tour, wondering where it was.
Yes, that's, you were right, because you were on it that day about, something about the motor torquing.
Did you see the lake this morning? Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions for the director?
Ma'am, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to the team. Thank you for
Yeah.
being here.
Is there any other business that needs to come before the council? Seeing none, then we are adjourned. Good job.
He's up there.
48 more.
Right.
We have to vote tonight, right?
Yeah.
But he's not in
No,
charge.
we don't support